So let me cast my screen and show you the website. So what the HVRP website was before was essentially a hot mess. We had a web page that we kept on putting information under headings. So if you wanted to see the HVRP, you would have to, anything that you wanted on it, you would have to continuously scroll, right? So what we did, we took all the content that was on the HVRP website, and we use social media now. DOL Vets, I believe, is on Twitter, Facebook, all of those. So it's really challenging when you're advertising a program and then you go to the website's landing page and it's just a mess. It actually looks like our meeting chat with a bunch of links. So we created a logical landing page. So a lot of folks' traffic will come from the prospective applicant webinars, the bidders conference. Miranda does outreach. So they might want to know how to apply for an HVRP grant. So by selecting that, there's information on who can apply and the assistance with the application process. We're looking for providing different information when it comes to the FOA when it's open. And then at that landing page, you can get into, as a recipient organization, how to effectively administer the program. So when you click on that, you see the policies, right? And that's because under recipient information, you have policies and requirements, training and assistance, resources, and program documents. So yes, VETS does have an active veterans program letter directory, but you don't have to go over there to get what you need over here. So these are hot links directly to the documents, as well as if you want to go over to the policy site. But everything is right here with the exception of the grant officer memorandum that we haven't yet published for the incremental funding season that will be at the end of 2025. Your terms and conditions that were required to post. Training and assistance, of course, NVTAC and NVTI. Resources, glossary of terms, acronym desk aid. These are all things that you can actively bookmark because they're PDF, open up it to a new browser. Some are downloadable. Other links to our systems. Someone had asked about the 3 systems: VETS' grantee reporting system, grant solutions, and the payment management system. So then what if you just want to learn about HVRP? New, never been in the game, just want to see like what it's all about, or anything into greater depth. So about HVRP, everything within this page as it relates to eligibility, services, partners, current grant recipients, and performance is true. So when I say it's true, it's policy and regulatorily correct. So with eligibility, what we did was we took the tables within the VPL and just put them on the web page. So it's web-based. So this is how an individual, an entity would learn if someone is eligible through just the display of tables. And then you can bring you back to the VPL that shows, the risk of homelessness criteria in greater depth. Kudos to my niece for taking this photo and for VETS being willing to throw it up on there for a nice change to not have just a big blank without images. So the services that we provide, again, program managers, if you need elevator pitch, this is where you're going to come to learn to understand what your HVRP is either required to provide or that you can articulate to other organizations on what you do provide. Partners of HVRP, get familiar with these. These are local federal resources that should be within your community. Work with those grant recipients as well as those project officers or goaters. They might not use the term goater. I think that may be a VETS thing, but there is definitely a goater equivalent locally for these programs. Current grant recipients, you got to give us a little bit of time, but for program year 25, we will have an active HVRP grant map and then a service delivery area map. So just, we're only a month and a half into the program year. This will all be updated for our active PY25 grant recipients. And check it out, play with it. It's really cool. We used to never have stuff like this in the 2010s to actually find active HVRP grant recipients other than like traditional lists like that are Excel based. These interactive maps kind of remind me of Google. So go ahead, check them out. If there's ever any discrepancies with them in your organization, talk to your goater, and your goater will work with us to update the maps. But as of right now, yes, we know that there may be grants that are expired on there because it's the program year active 24 active grant map. We're in program year 25 as my table and chart showed earlier. So once that's updated, you'll likely get an email blast or notice from your goater. So performance, everything that we report to Congress, your outcomes of this program or project, your success lends to Congress continuing to fund this. And Ivan Denton had talked about this in this grant program from 2017 to 2025. Yeah, we're in 25. Has like increased by 70%. But you gotta keep delivering. I can't say that strongly enough. So through everything that you've learned this this PAC, through the relationships that you're building among grant recipients, your coaches, your goaters, user resources, we're here. We want you to succeed. We want the HVRP to thrive. We want our veterans experiencing or at risk of homelessness to reintegrate into the workforce and be successful. Give them the support they need. We'll support you in doing so. And with that, I am done.